Hello, everybody. I'm so thrilled to have the Miss Face of Humanity Indonesia, who will be competing in the Miss Face of Humanity 2021 in Toronto, Canada this October. So please support her. Let's welcome Miss Face of Humanity Indonesia, Nadia Tjoa. Hi,
Hi, hello
Nadia.
everyone. Actually, I'll be competing in Toronto in December
Oh, okay.
because of the COVID situation, we have to move it back.
Mhm.
But look forward to it. I'm very excited, and I'm very excited to have the session with Sir Doods.
Yeah, and you know what, Nadia? Whether you have makeup or whether you don't have makeup, you look so stunning. You look so beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I don't
That's
have
true.
makeup.
Yeah, that's why. I mean,
Thanks.
it's a very raw beauty, but very striking at the same time.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so our session today is table topics. No, I mean table topic questions. So you just answer us now, just so that the whole of Indonesia and the world will know about you. Okay, first question. When was the last time you tried something new?
One of my philosophy in life is to try new things when it comes to me. So for myself, I try something new probably before COVID quite regularly. So every month I would try to go somewhere I've never been before or travel somewhere with new friends and getting to know new people. But because of COVID, it's been restricted. And I think it's new for me to be having Zoom calls. It's new for me to be having meetings from home. It's new for me to interact with people just through social media. And I have new friends that I've never met before. So that's how I guess, we go through life now.
Nadia, many people are saying that you're very articulate in the use of the English language. So could you please tell your background, why you are that articulate, or why
Uh,
you're so proficient in the use of the language?
yeah, so I'm educated bilingually. So I studied in Indonesian, but also in English, so simultaneously together. And then my curriculum and all my notebooks and books are actually in English. And while I'm studying architecture as well, all of the professors, they have their presentations in English. So that's how I got to know like a lot of the terms and the language that normally people don't use. But yeah, so also I like reading. I like reading in English. And sometimes I find myself thinking in English as well. So that's how I got to use it every day.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's so interesting, Nadia, no, because a lot of people, I mean, people's notion about architecture as a course is a man's course, right? But
Oh
then what
yeah.
made you decide to embark on that kind of, field of study?
So architecture um, is designing basically. So it's like creating. This is the best way I can describe it. It's creating something out of nothing. So you have a concept and you think about it, and then you go through all the steps, and then you make sure it's safe, and then you create it, and then maybe a year later after the project, and then you see it and it's like it was in my mind but now it's real. So that's what brings me to architecture. That's what brings me to design. Like, how can someone create something when they basically go from zero?
Okay,
Yeah.
so
And
as an architecture graduate, right? So basically, you're an architect now, right? So
yeah.
do you have a dream house design?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I think every architect, when they go through the uni experience, they all have in their mind like, I want this, I want that, and then they tag it like, this is my client's requirements, but I also want that. It's like I'm like stealing that idea. Yeah.
Okay. So I would be very excited to have you design my dream house as well.
Oh yeah, of course.
So Nadia, what gets you excited about life?
I think the discovery process of learning, because I love learning, is what gets me through life. Because you can go through life being just boring person, like going through life doing all the same thing, doing all the routines. But what gets me through is when I know that this is something new, this is something I've never experienced before, and then just having like all the new friends that comes with it. Is when we come into a new community, when we do something new, we meet all the people that comes with it.
Mhm. Nadia, when it was confirmed that you would be the Miss Face of Humanity Indonesia 2021, what was the feeling that you had when you received the news?
Actually, I was very shocked. I was with my friends actually, and then I'm like, okay, friends, just be quiet, be quiet.
Okay.
I'm calling. And then I'm like, okay, it's confirmed to go to Misface of Humanity. And then I started researching because this is a new pageant and they're going through like they're changing the titles and everything. So I just started researching like what is the vision, what is the mission. And then after I found out about their humanitarian um, efforts and stuff like that, I got very excited. And then I worked with my teams. I work with Kak Ivan and I work with Kak Dardo, and I'm like, okay, this is what I want to bring. This is what we can talk about, and it's very exciting.
Okay, so when you found out that it aligns with your principles, with what you believe in, so what was the first step that you've done to prepare for this pageant?
Yeah, so basically, even before I joined Miss Grand Indonesia, I was already active um, with Roshan Learning Center. It's a learning center for refugees in Jakarta. And there are a lot of refugee centers in Indonesia that don't have enough support, don't have enough people who knows about it. So when I got to Miss Grand Indonesia and I met with Kadardo and Kaifan, they all say that I've never heard about it before. And like we can totally bring that, we can totally work on it. And when I confirmed, I started like contacting them as well. I'm like, hi, I've been going I'm doing this, and can you like, is it something that you're interested in joining, in supporting us? And fortunately, I've had like amazing conversations with them, and they have like so many ideas, and we can totally work together now.
Wow, that's so amazing, Nadia. Okay, okay, so your popularity increased with this title, Miss Face of Humanity. Of course, a lot of people already know you. No, during the Miss Grand Indonesia pageant, you already had your following, but then it increased, no, with this title. So how do you handle the fame that you are receiving, the attention that you're receiving right now?
Actually, I think I'm receiving enough attention. I'm not receiving like crazy attention, and I like it that way because it means that people who follows me are people who knows about me, and they know about what I'm working and my vision and what I like, what I've been like fighting for. And I love like how they like DM me and like comment in the photos and the pictures, and they're like, Nadia, I know you've been working so hard, and like they're like, you can do it. They DM me like the sweetest thing. So those are amazing. Yeah, loving
That's
it so far.
uh, what uh, what was one thing that you can do today that you were not capable of doing a year ago?
I think there's a lot. Yeah, because even like just talking, like having the sessions with Manohara, you guys have helped me so much in like the way I think Miss Rachel and Sir Alvin has helped me in like making sure that I know like how to say in a sentence like in very articulate way. And I think public speaking is definitely something I've improved on. And then also dancing, because I cannot dance before. And we've been having these classes for two days a week, and it's been helping very much for us to like just get into the song and everything.
Okay, if you had the opportunity, and definitely you will be having the opportunity to get a message across to a large group of people, or especially the world, no? What would your message be?
I think my message is everybody should take a moment and then go back to their lives when they were children, when they were kids, and then look back and see how much they have hoped for the world to be a positive place, for the world to be a good place for them. And then see now, as we are, the next generation, how we can contribute to like make sure that their dreams are coming true. Because not everyone has the same experience, not everyone has um, the same things that have happened. So for us, it's important to put ourselves in their shoes and make sure that the next generation is better than us.
Wow. Okay. I mean, you're a potential winner of the Miss Face of Humanity, no? Uh, you mentioned something earlier on that you're fond of reading books, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so could you please share to us a book that truly matters to you? I mean, what is your favorite book? What is the book that truly, caught your attention?
There are a lot, but also when I was a kid, my father bought this book. It's called um it was about like like in China they have like a king, and then the king have concubines, and then this story is about one of the concubines, and
Mhm.
then it's about the struggles she faced. It's about how how she have children, but the children is taken care of by someone else because she's not the main wife. And then it's about um just the things that women face at the time. So it's like how hard it was to be a woman at the time. And I think as I read through it when I was a kid, I'm like, I just hope that when I grow up, it's not like that anymore. So when I look through right now, I'm like, uh, we've gone so far. Women has gone so far, and we are going to continue to go much further. So if I can take something from that book, is that women is strong, and women are gonna go through all the all the stuff that
Yeah.
we have to go through to be a better contribution in society.
Okay. Of course, we're only human beings. So we have our moments of solitude. We have our moments of disappointments. What lifts your spirits when life gets you down?
Ah, yeah, especially during COVID, I'm sure all of us has had those moments where we're like, this is so hard and everything's going down. And something that has always like helped me through are my friends. So I have the most amazing friends that I can go every time I have a problem. I can just call them and be like, "Hi guys, I just need someone to listen to me, to tell me that I'm not crazy, that everyone's having difficult times." So I have this amazing friends, and I'm sure that if people have those friends, they're gonna be okay. They're gonna
And
be
I
okay.
think, Nadia, you also have amazing followers and
I
supporters. Because if you're going to, I've been checking your Instagram account. I mean, everything is so positive. All comments are, nobody's bashing you. Nobody is like saying something bad against you. It only shows how much they love you and your personality as well. And, it's very seldom that you see a celebrity, a beauty queen, right? Or a public figure which receives so much positivity in terms of the comments, right?
I'm very thankful to all of my followers. They've been the most amazing contribution. And I just love how they put all this strong positive messages in the comments so other people can see it too.
Yeah. Mm. Well, aside from that, if you would, I do not know if you're aware of it, but before the announcement of Sophia as Miss Grand Indonesia, people were guessing, and you're always, your name was always the one coming out, no, from these people guessing that you should be. They were thinking that it would be you who would be the next Miss Grand Indonesia. Were you aware of that?
I saw some of it because
Mm.
they tag me. So
Yeah.
usually when people tag me, I read it
You know.
and I read a lot of the comments.
Mm.
But also like I think it's so sweet. But I already know Sophie.
Yeah.
I already know.
And the good thing about you is that you were not confirming or denying it, right? I mean, you just
Yeah.
let it the proper time to, come out for it to be announced, and that's the reason why everybody was so happy, and when they found out that you would be representing Indonesia also in another pageant, right? I myself was also very thrilled when I found it out. Because remember the first time I met you,
Oh
I already
yeah.
told you that you should represent Indonesia in an
And thank
international competition,
you.
and it happened.
Oh, you're so
Right.
sweet.
But of course, no, I'm interested to know, and I'm sure other your followers will also be interested to know about the greatest fear of a Nadia of
Yeah, of
our
course.
Miss Face of Humanity, Indonesia.
Well, everyone have that thing that makes them makes their heart go pump pump and like for me personally, um it's doing my best but still disappointing people. I think deep down in everyone's heart they have this feeling as well. It's like when I do everything I can, but the stars just don't align and it's not my time yet and I disappoint people. So that's my my biggest fear.
Oh yeah, okay. But representing the title itself, Miss Face of Humanity, right? What does it mean to be human for you?
Yeah. For me, to be human is to put ourselves in other people's shoe, for us to understand that we are human, not just me, not I'm human, but we are human. And we share the same basic values. We want the same basic things. And then we just have to eventually understand each other. And for us to not seek for differences, not seek for differences, but go together and create something great together.
Okay. What are your top five personal values? Three or five?
3 or 5.
Yeah.
I love compassion. I think that's the most important thing. When I look for a friend, someone I can trust, I look for compassion first. And then honesty, for them to be someone who are honest, it's very important. And then someone who works hard, so a hardworking person. Um, that's 3. Should I add more?
Okay, that's great enough. Okay. Um, uh, okay, how do you think the problem of poverty could be addressed in Indonesia?
Well, there's a research that says that poverty is created and it's by design. So I'm sure that the government has many programs to address poverty, and I'm sure that they're trying to reduce the imbalance. And I just know that this COVID situation is not making it any better because I've heard of stories in social media and news and just how dreadful everything is. But I believe that if we work hard and the government is listening to us as and we talk and we speak up, I'm pretty sure they're gonna listen to us and work out something.
Wonderful, wonderful, Nadia. If your life was a novel, what would be the title and how would your story end?
If my life is a novel, if my life is a novel, the title will be. I think I want it to be my name, so just Nadia Tjoa.
Okay, yeah. And what
Yeah,
would be the title and why your name?
because I think I wanted to tell the story of how my life has been. So, because my life is not amazing, it's not so different. It's not something that other people cannot relate to. My story is a simple story of someone who comes from a regular family and from parents who work hard to raise their child. I have two brothers, so we fight all the time. And then we bicker like normal siblings do. And then I had a dream. I had a dream to become a model at first, and then I had a dream to join pageants. And I'm sure we all have those kind of childhoods. So we have our siblings and we have something we want to do. And then I just go one step at a time. So my novel will be simple. It will be something people can look and be like, that's my life. That's my friend's life.
So I would
And
be very glad to buy that novel once you have it. Yeah. Okay. Beyond the title of Miss Face of Humanity that has been accorded to you, what is the face of Nadia?
the face of Nadia. I hope if I represent something, it represents the willingness to serve. So my message is always to look beside you, look to the people around you, and then see how you can help, how you can do something in a small way. Because I'm not capable of creating enormous change, but I know that everybody can create some change. So yeah.
Yeah. Uh, Nadia, is it better to have loved and lost or to have never loved at all?
uh, Speaking from experience, speaking from experience, I will always choose to have loved and lost.
Mm.
Because losing something is learning. It's about acceptance. It's about grief. And it's about having those steps to heal and then be ready to love again.
Wow, so romantic. Okay, what do you think, Nadia, will be your plus factor or your advantage once you step on the international stage?
Um, I'm gonna be representing Indonesia, Misface of Humanity, and my advantage will be something that is essentially Indonesian, which is our friendliness, which is our the way we accept people, the way we encourage people to be around us. And I think that will be my advantage, the way that we have Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, which is diversity. And I hope that the international stage embrace that too.
Wow, yes. What makes Nadia angry?
Angry.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm a very disciplined person.
Mhm.
So when I set a goal to myself and then I work towards it, I'm very I'm very disciplined and I have like those timetables and stuff. So what will make me angry if someone or myself just let go and not respecting other people's time and not respecting other people's effort, that will definitely make me angry.
Okay. Nadia, is there any pressure that you're feeling right now? Because, it's a big responsibility to represent your country, Indonesia, in an international pageant like MFOH.
Definitely, there's always a pressure when we join a competition, right? If there's no pressure, then there's no competition. So I think
Yeah.
it's good to have some pressure, but also I have a great team, an experienced team, and people who are behind me, who are pushing me, who are telling me what I should do and guides me throughout the way. One of them is Manohara.
Mm.
And I think that will get me there.
Okay. What was one lesson that you learned from this pandemic?
I think this pandemic changed everybody's life. We usually meet face to face and we can be as friendly as we want because we're friendly people. But this pandemic changed the way we interact, the way we socialize. And I'm just so very sad that we cannot do the normal things we usually do. We cannot work as normally. And then the saddest thing is that I cannot meet my friends. I cannot meet the people I care the most. And if I do meet them, it's gonna be irresponsible of me. And I don't want to do that. So we just have to take care of each other at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. In as much as we want to meet you in person doing this, discussion or conversation, right? We do it online.
Yeah.
Okay. If you could relive yesterday, what would you do differently?
Yesterday, well, I'm in Surabaya.
Mm.
I'm in my family's house and I've been chilling, not going out at all, staying at home. So yesterday I had I just did gym from my home. So if I were to do something differently, I'll probably do the gym harder.
Okay. Okay.
'Cause, yeah,
Why?
I didn't do it as much as I usually do.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Uh, uh, I'm interested to know now, and I'm very sure a lot of people are also interested about this. What quality you're looking for in a partner?
Ah. um, I've dated a few times before, so I kind of have an idea of what I want. I want someone who's responsible. I want someone who knows what they want. Because I think the biggest thing I've learned is that I cannot change a person and I cannot make my dreams become theirs. They should have their own dream and they should chase their own dream. Because there's a void that I cannot fill, and it's for their expectations and stuff like that. And for me, the most important thing is that they are fulfilled with themselves. If I find someone who's fulfilled, I'll be happy because they don't have the burden anymore.
But are you fine with marrying a guy who is less popular, less successful as you are?
Uh, I'm not that popular, but also I think popularity is not that important because people can be popular but not a good person. People can be popular but don't have compassion for others, don't have empathy for others. So I think those values are much more important than if they're popular or if they're successful. I think what comes from the heart should speak louder.
Does look matter to you when you find your future partner?
Actually, honestly, a little bit.
Mm.
But for me, it's more important that they take care of themselves and they care about themselves. So I want someone who smells nice, who showers every day. So I want someone who knows who they are and take care of themselves.
Yeah. Okay, so guys out there, you know what Miss Nadia is looking for. So make it sure you will fit the bill. Okay. Uh, uh, could you please share to us, the best quotation that resonates your life?
The best quotation.
Yeah.
I think like when I was young, this is one of the first that stuck to me is that one person can change the world. I think it's like it's not so much that it only takes one person. I think it's the ripple effect that this one person creates that inspires other people. And I think I take that as a guide for me now. So I look to others who inspire me. I look to others who can teach me. And I think the way we change the world is when we inspire each other.
So your advocacy is actually more on helping out the refugees, right? Uh, how far do you think you would go in promoting this advocacy?
The refugee conflict and the way refugee lives is not just an Indonesia problem. Actually, Indonesia, compared to the other countries in the world, doesn't have that much refugee, but it's a global problem because war is happening everywhere, as well as with the pandemic, the refugees are having very, very difficult times. And especially globally, outside of Indonesia, as well as in Canada, Australia, America, Europe as well. These are the countries that they want to go to, but they cannot because of the pandemic. These are the countries they want to start over and bring their family with, but they cannot. And therefore, they're staying in other countries like in Indonesia, where we have the resources, but we are not letting them into our society as much because of the regulations that the country have. And I think the way we change that is when the countries realize that it's a global problem that everyone has to address, as well as Indonesia. And we have to create something that is sustainable for them. And for them to have an education is one way to do that, so that their next generation have the ability to grow up and chase their dreams.
Okay. Nadia, do you think the Indonesian government is doing its job well in terms of handling this pandemic?
It's a very difficult way to judge because I'm pretty sure that the Indonesian government is not experienced in handling pandemics. When we had the SARS pandemic before, Indonesia didn't get that much impact. And then when they had to go through COVID, they were essentially doing it based on other countries' experience. And Indonesia is a very different country. It's a very vast with so many islands, and reaching every island is so hard. And for us, I think they're doing the best they can with the information they have, with the resources they have. And I'm not confident if anyone else has to be put in that position, they can do better. So I think we're just doing our best and taking care of each other.
So are you in favor of some sort of a semi lockdown that they impose in Jakarta now?
Actually, I am, because looking at the numbers and looking at the experience that the doctors and nurses are putting on social media and the news, it is very, very revealing. And we can see from the pictures, from like all the posts, that we are not capable of taking care of another wave of sick people. And I think the lockdown is a way to hold that. The lockdown is the way that we make sure that everyone gets better first before we continue.
Yeah. She is Miss Face of Humanity. Miss Hanya, please.
Hello.
I would like you to meet Miss Face of Humanity. She will be representing.
Hi,
You
hello.
come forward. She is the dean of our school.
Hello, nice meeting
Hi,
you.
hello.
Very
Nice
nice.
to meet
Yes.
you.
Good luck, good luck.
She will represent Indonesia this December in Canada.
She's very beautiful.
Beautiful and very articulate.
Thank
Good
you.
luck, all the best. Win the crown.
Thank you.
You have the best mentor here.
My gosh.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay,
She,
goodbye.
yeah, she's our dean in the school where I'm teaching right now.
Oh, I see.
Okay. So anyway, let's continue.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So uh what's this? I okay. So Nadia, could you claim at this point that you are happy in its truest sense?
Uh, I think I'm happy in general. Truest sense, inner peace. I have that. I have inner peace right now. But also like the whole situation with the lockdowns and COVID and seeing everyone suffering and seeing everyone trying to find oxygen, trying to find a space in the hospital and they couldn't. It of course brings me down sometimes. And I think we go through it one day at a time. We make the best of it. But I do have inner peace and am happy from inside. And I think when we have that, we can go through all these difficulties and come back stronger.
Yeah, amazing. Nadia, I'm not sure if you're aware about, the reputation of Indonesia uh, as one of the corrupt countries in Asia or in the world. What are your thoughts on this?
I'm sure that there are corruptions because we cannot say that there is no corruption at all. There are proofs to it. But I'm not a politician, and I personally have not seen anyone around me being corrupt. I've personally never engaged in corruption as well, and I've been taught to not do those things, especially with the way we teach everyone now. It's like that corruption is not good and it shouldn't be inherited. So I'm sure that Indonesia will face change in the next few generations and it's gonna be better. But right now, of course, there are corruption. Yeah.
Okay, that's a good answer because I think all countries have their own share of corruption, right?
Yeah.
It's not only Indonesia. Like, okay, so let's go about mental health. This is one of the common, problems, especially of teenagers, no, of younger generations nowadays. Although it doesn't specifically, it's not exclusive to young people, no, even
Yeah.
adults
Yeah.
suffer from mental health. How would you think it could be addressed at this time, especially in Indonesia?
I think the first step to making mental health just better is to acknowledge that it exists. Because a lot of countries, they're like, no, we don't have mental health problems here, or no, you're not you're not experiencing all these symptoms.
Yeah.
And people say that all the time. Or when you do acknowledge that I am sick and I need help, people sometimes say that you're crazy.
Mhm.
So I think the first step is to acknowledge that it exists, not put any stigma on it.
Yeah.
And then we can face the steps to make it better. Yeah.
Yeah, no, because a lot of people are in denial, right? Even the one suffering or even the one experiencing itself, no. So that's a very good, take on this issue. How about same-sex marriage? This is a very controversial issue, especially in a country like Indonesia.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you? How would you? Uh, uh, I'm interested to know your take on same-sex marriage because it's a very sensitive issue, especially
Yeah,
for an Indonesian candidate like So
yeah,
I think the world is waiting for your thoughts on this.
yeah. Actually, with this big issues and like very controversial issues, I think it's important for us to bring it back to the human level and ask ourselves, do we see people who love each other and they cannot be together? Do we see people who are in this long-term relationship and then they want to be something, they want to create a family together and then they just cannot? And I think, like, as I see my friends who are actually gay, but they try to hide it because they are afraid of the society. They're afraid that people will not accept them, will vilify them. I think personally for me, it's a very, very sad situation. And if I can change the rules, if I can change the laws, I would definitely make it so that they can be together.
Mhm. Are you in favor of, abortion? Mm.
This is also a very controversial
Yeah.
topic. Yeah, for me, there are many different reasons why a woman get pregnant. One of them is rape. And then when I hear the stories, read the news, when women are raped and then they cannot abort the children, they have to live and raise the baby as their own. Even though every time they look at the baby, it reminds them of something terrible that happened to them. I think for those cases, it's very hard for us to say that, no, you cannot abort this child that you never wanted, that was forced upon you because someone looked at you as a property.
Mm.
So I think it depends on the case, but it definitely has to be an option.
Mhm. Wonderful. What a very intelligent answer, Miss Nadia. Okay. What are you going to tell to a teenager, no, a 16-year-old uh, girl who is not so confident about how she looks? How would you
Um,
make her feel confident about herself?
16-year-olds are in that phase where everything is changing. The way they think is changing, but also their body is changing very much. And they've become more sexual. And I think it's very important for us to teach them that everything is going to change, but who you are inside is not. And then it's up to you, and you have the power to shape yourself. You have the power to create your future and work accordingly. So you dress the way you want, you think the way you want, you act the way you want, and that's how you become confident.
Wow, I love it. I love it, Nadia. When you wake up in the morning and see yourself in front of the mirror, what do you see?
If if it's in the morning, then it's the morning hair, the bed, from the bed, the face. I see myself as I am. I see myself without the makeup, without the filters, without all the glams and all the blings. And I see myself as a human, as a strong woman, and as someone who's ready to start the day with a positive mind.
Wow. How are you going to explain, the concept of an Indonesian woman to a foreigner?
Yeah. So I think Indonesia has many different things going for them. And one of it is that we have so many different races. We have so many different tradition and culture going together. And I think an Indonesian woman is equipped with that in their mind when they interact with the world. They're seeing it as they are. Like, you are a human, I am a human. We are not different. We are bringing all these values from our society, but in the end, we are ready to interact as ourselves. And that's the essence of an Indonesian woman.
Wow. Okay. So, not taking into consideration the current situation, the pandemic, how are you going to motivate, or how are you going to invite, tourists to come to Indonesia?
I think after everything's over, definitely just highlighting the best of Indonesia, because Indonesia already have so much going for them. and it's been shadowed by the pandemic, shadowed by all the difficulties. But just bringing it back, bringing it to the surface again. We have a Borobudur temple, the biggest temple in the world. We have Bali, NTT, the most beautiful ocean, the most beautiful wildlife, and just bringing it back and telling people that we are ready to welcome you again.
Okay. There are some talks in the news that the Indonesian government is planning to transfer the capital city to another city, and leaving Jakarta behind. So, what is your view about this?
Yeah, so they're changing it to Borneo, which I think is a brilliant move. So much of the development in Indonesia has been Java focused. So everything is in Java, the economy, the social life, all the entertainment business is in Java. So bringing it to Borneo, which is not too far, but a huge island, they have so many resources, so many people, and just giving them a chance to build a new city that is proper with proper city planning. I think it's a brilliant move.
Okay, let's talk about education, Nadia. No? Indonesia has one of the most number of international schools, no? in Asia. So do you think education in Indonesia is commercialized?
Ah, I think there are just so many people in Indonesia. There are 270 million people and so many children. So there's just a lot of market for private schools, a lot of market for international schools, but also a lot of it is for the national schools to take care of. So we just have so many people, and therefore we have all these schools to take care of the education.
Okay. So do you think those who are attending national schools are not enjoying fully, the benefit of, education as compared to those who are in the private schools, and international schools?
In my experience when I was studying, some of the best schools in my city, because we have used to have a rank, some of the best schools are from national schools because they are focused in studying certain subjects, and they have different curriculums. Some of the international schools uh, they choose before the classes start. They choose what they want to study. But for the national school, they have to study it all. So it's a very different mindset, different outcomes as well. So I think it really depends on what the student what the student want to do in the future. If they want to study something very specific, I think it's very good for them if they go to international school. I think if they want to go to a course that is very general, I think it's very good for them to learn everything in national school as well.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think it's mandatory for a beauty queen like you to be proficient in the use of the English language?
I think it certainly helps. I don't think it's the main point for you to win. I don't think you should put it in one language. But also, I think being proficient in English makes sure that you can talk to so many different people from many different countries. And it helps the judge to know you more. It helps the organization to work with you on the future projects. And so I think it depends on the organization as well, what they want to do in the future with the queens and what they are willing to take care of, like for example with the language.
Okay. So if you will win the title of Miss Face of Humanity, how are you going to cascade, your advocacy, which is exclusively in Indonesia? How are you going to promote it worldwide?
Actually, I have talked with people in Canada, And I asked them, is this a problem in Canada? And yes, it is. Unfortunately, it's a problem everywhere. So I think bringing it to international level is not going to be that hard. But what's going to be hard is like making sure that when we do something, people want to contribute and people want to be educated about the issue and make sure that we actually makes a difference in the countries where we go to.
Wow. Okay. At the at the start of pandemic, I think it's more than a year now that students are doing home-based learning or online schooling. No. Uh, uh, what is your take on HBL learning, home-based learning? Do you think students are able to maximize their studies, or there some disadvantage of that, or what?
There are definitely disadvantages because my little brother is actually going to uni right now. But doing everything from online is just so much different. When I was going to school, 50% of the learning is having that interaction with each other. It's having that interaction with the teacher, having conversations with the students, and making new friends and making lasting memories. But we cannot do that now. We are so much more dependent on the technology, and I think it robs them of their childhood. I just hope that the pandemic is gonna be over soon and they can catch up.
Exactly. Everybody's
Yeah.
praying for that. What do you think is the most significant change that transpired or that happened in the world in the last 10 to 15 years?
If we look into the whole 10 years, I think COVID is definitely it. Because it's already taken 2 years for us, right? To
Yeah.
be at home. And it's a pandemic on a whole different level. We've had pandemics before, but not like this. And definitely not with technology as advanced as this and with the information that we get, the real-time information. It's a good and bad thing because it makes us aware of everything that's happening, but also it gets us in a panic mode because we are like, what should we do? This is happening, even though it's very far from us or it's not going to affect us. So this pandemic is a very big lesson. I hope that everyone learns something from it and
Mhm.
we can be better prepared next time.
Yeah, I hope so. No, Miss Nadia, if you will win the Miss Face of Humanity crown, which three countries you will visit first and why?
Ah,
Aside from Indonesia, yeah.
yeah. So of course, Misface of Humanity is in Canada. I think I've already talked with one of the contestants. She's from Thailand and she has so many similar ideas. We have so many things in common. And I will definitely visit her in Thailand. And then I am very excited to meet the team in Tokyo as well. Because Miss Face of Humanity has a team in Japan. And then definitely USA, because USA is a neighbor to Canada. And I think it's going to be very easy for us to take a step there and then see what's going on.
What
Yeah.
what is your view about transgender women who are joining pageant? So how will you take it if, for example, there's a candidate in the Miss Face of Humanity who's a transgender?
I think if she can represent herself as a woman and speak for women and advocate for women, I think those are the important things. It's not as much about if she's a transgender, it's more if she can think for women and speak up for women. So if she can do that, I have no problem.
Okay. Okay. Do you think at this point wherein we are living in a modern era, right? Do you think it's appropriate for women like you to do the first move when they like the guy?
Yeah, times have definitely changed. And dating has changed. And with the technology and everything, there are so many apps that we can use as well for women. So I think one of the difficulties for women when they want to approach somebody, that I don't know if this guy is a good guy. I don't know if this guy is trustworthy. But with technology now we can look at what he thinks, what he wrote about, what he posted about, and I think we can adjust with that. And it's easier for women to make the first move. And I've personally made the first move before as well. It didn't go anywhere, but it was fun,
Yeah.
right?
Mm. Yeah, for as long as you know your limitations, no, I mean, you don't go overboard, and everything is, in its proper perspective. I also think there's nothing wrong with that, right?
Yeah.
For you to let the person know that you like him or her, like.
Uh-huh.
So a lot of people are saying that, I mean, no, not a lot of people, but there is a certain group of people, not only in Indonesia, but in every country, who are against beauty pageants because they claim that it's just a mere exploitation of women, right? So,
Oh,
what are you going to tell to these people who are against beauty pageant if you will have the opportunity to talk to them?
so actually, some of the most driven women I've met in my life, they've been active in beauty pageants because beauty pageants give you the platform to speak up, and they also make sure that their candidates are well spoken, and women who have a vision, have a mission, and they are willing to represent their country. They're willing to represent the district they came from. So these women are not there because they're exploited, because they don't want to be there, because you choose to be there. And these women are there because they're ready to perform, because they're ready to impress, because they're ready to be who they actually are.
Wow. Okay. What do you think is a quality of a woman that you could teach to men or to a man?
I think there is still in some countries this idea of toxic masculinity, where men are taught that you cannot cry, you cannot feel. So if I can teach something to the men in this world, is for them to be okay with feeling soft, with feeling compassion, with feeling raw emotion. So for them to tell the world who they actually are without being afraid of judgment. I think that will free them and that will free us as well.
Mhm. Okay, my gosh, I'm having goosebumps with the way you answer, Nadia. Okay, what particular current events affects you the most and why?
Current
What?
events,
Yeah.
it's very specific to Indonesia, but currently we're
Mm,
having our second lockdown,
mm,
Jawa, Jawa and Bali. So it's affecting all of my friends, everyone I talk to, they've said that this current lockdown has changed the way they work because finally they're like, finally I can work, finally I can go to the office, finally I can meet my clients again. But now they're like, oh, so we're back. And it's been very difficult to everyone. And I just want to say that we just have to go through this together and keep ourselves safe, keep the people we love safe, because we see every day in social media so many people are dying. And just make sure that health is still number one.
okay, my gosh. So, okay, Nadia, let's go a bit lighter. The topics are so heavy, how many siblings do you have?
I have two. I have two brothers, one older, one younger.
Okay. Could you please tell something about them? Mm.
Yeah, my older brother studied visual design, so similar to my major, because I studied design. And then my younger is supposed to go to uni, but because of COVID, he has to do everything virtually. And so when we were kids, like siblings do, we usually fight, especially two brothers. And that's why I like martial arts now. It's because of I have two brothers.
Yeah, because you're the only girl, right?
Yeah, I'm the only girl.
Yeah, you're their
And
baby.
yeah, so we actually took care of the little brother together because we have 8 years of difference. So for me, it's like a preparation to motherhood, you know?
Okay, how old are you now, Nadia?
I'm 26.
23. Okay, so still very young. Yeah, still very young. My gosh. And how 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 do your two brothers take uh, your being a misface of humanity in Indonesia? Of course, no. I mean, somehow they're affected in a positive way. No, oh,
Ah,
I have a sister who is the face of humanity in Indonesia. I mean, what I'm so curious to know, how do they take that?
for my siblings, they're like normal siblings. They bicker and they talk back to each other. And so when I say that I'm going to represent Indonesia and Miss Face of Humanity, they're like, so what? You know?
Yeah, because they haven't embraced yet, no, how big the responsibility is and how
Yeah,
glamorous it is,
yeah,
no, to become a beauty queen, no.
yeah.
Later on, they will feel that they would they
One
would.
day, maybe if they're interested in going to humanitarian work and
Yeah.
stuff.
So, how about your parents? What's their take when they found out you'll be the Miss Face of Humanity?
They were worried at first. They're like, do you have the support from your team, from your organization? And then I assure them that my organization is doing everything they can and they're guiding me towards the right path. And so they're like, okay, so we trust that you can do it. Just do your best. Just give it your all and have fun.
Yeah, wow, amazing parents, very supportive, right?
Very surprised.
You mentioned that, yesterday you mentioned that you would have a dinner with your dad. No? uh, uh, what I mean, when you became the Miss Face of Humanity, definitely the time you spend with your family has been lessened, right? Because you attend to different functions, you attend to different photo shoots and training and all like that. So uh, when when you meet your family, so what difference does it make as compared to when you were not yet a Miss Face of Humanity?
I think the difference is not that much because I used to work in Jakarta and they live here. They live in Surabaya. So the space, like we cannot meet each other every day. We cannot have dinner every day. And like they're used to that because I used to work 9 to 5 and work very hard. And for me to join Miss Face of Humanity, I actually have more time.
Oh.
I actually have more time to talk and call them. So it's been a good experience.
Yeah, when you won, no, when you, I mean, when you were accorded the title and the crown of Miss Face of Humanity, definitely, you have to set aside your job, right?
Yeah.
Did you resign or you take a leave of absence from your job?
So I resigned after 1 year of working there. I used to work in Kompas, one of the
Mhm.
newspaper in
Okay,
Indonesia.
yeah.
Yeah. So I worked there for 1 year and then I resigned afterwards because I was just trying to focus on modeling and doing all that shooting, stuff like that. So for me, I already stopped working in the company for quite a while.
Okay. So how do you sustain? How do you manage? I mean, are your income or that you are? I mean, is the income that you generate from being a model and then being a beauty queen? I mean, are they enough for you to sustain your daily existence?
I'm definitely not one of those people who like to shop, and I'm not like spending all that much as well.
Yeah.
I also have my money from the days when I work and when I was modeling. And I definitely still do some modeling, even though it's been affected by COVID.
Yeah.
I'm still doing some work remotely or like photo shoots, but online and stuff like that. So I'm generating income through that.
And I think this is very inspiring, no, for people who will be able to watch this because, I mean, in terms of your discipline in, taking care of your finances, no, could you please share it to us so that, people, because you're so young and then you know how to manage your finances that well, no, not, I think 80% of people your age are not that disciplined enough to handle the money. Okay. Could you please,
So at
what advice could you give them?
So at my age, my friends are getting into investing, and I've been investing as well, but not as much.
Mm.
And so I've created a new account for the money that I'm not using currently. So I have a spending account and another account. So those are what I'm using to save and to invest.
Mm.
And if I have something from my work coming in, I put it in the spending and then I put 50% of it to my other account. So I think that's how I balance it so that I'm not suddenly like
Yeah.
spending all this money on something I don't need.
Wow, fantastic. No, not only younger people could learn from that, no, even the adults, no, could learn from that kind of, strategy, no. Okay, so are you ready to face the international stage?
I think I'm definitely ready. And it's also because of the direction from Manohara and Yayasan Dunia Mega Bintang. They have been so helpful and giving me all this direction, giving me all this info about what I should expect in the international stage. So I think I'm ready, but I would if I have time, I'll use all the time to prepare.
Okay,
So
fantastic. Okay, so if you will have a message first to your family, so what message are you going to give them? At this point, that you are now the Misface of Humanity, you will be representing Indonesia, and your life will definitely, actually, your life has changed, no, little by little. You are not just feeling it. I think you are just grounded. That's the reason why you don't feel so much change, right? But then in reality it's changing, no, it's starting to change. So there will be some point in your life wherein your time with your family and with your loved ones will definitely decrease, no? So what message do you want to give them at this point to your family?
uh, thank you first and foremost. Thank you for giving me all the support, giving me the push for me to go forward. But also, I hope that you see that I'm doing my best. That when I go to international, I'm gonna do my best, and I hope that what I bring back from it is something that they can definitely appreciate. Um, and just let's go through life together.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So touching. What's your message to the Yayasan?
The Yayasan. The Yayasan has been with me throughout the Miss Grand Indonesia journey, and also up till now, and I'm sure to the future as well. They have been amazing with what they can do and all the resources they can pull. And They've been very serious in making sure that the girls they bring are taken care of. And with the past experiences with Aura, for example, I've seen that they work so hard. They work so hard to give the best for Indonesia. So it's not just for me, but yes, and it's giving the best for Indonesia as well.
Wow. How about to your fans, to the pageant lovers, to your supporters, to your followers?
Uh, um, some of them actually DM me and be like, "I want to be like you," and I'm like, "It's not easy." that's my that's my first message. It's not as easy as it looks in the social media because I think people forget that. People see the social media like all the photo shoots, all the video shoots, and they're like, "Oh, it's so nice." Of course, it's nice, but also it's very hard. Like how we have to walk on heels and all the like broken nails and like how our feet hurts. Our feet hurts and our back hurts because we've been wearing heels for so long. And those are the things that we don't say. But um, I think if you want to do your best and you want to achieve something, you do it one step at a time and then you work hard and I'm sure you'll get there.
Okay. Why you should be the Misface of Humanity 2021?
Well, the face of humanity is changing. Humanity is not the same as before, and it is modern. It is a modern woman that knows what she wants, that have the compassion, the vision and mission, and the hardworking attitude to serve. And I think I have that. So I hope we can work together in the future. Thank
Wow.
you.
Could you please show us how you will introduce yourself as Miss Face of Humanity Indonesia? Your introduction, your introductory speech.
Oh, um, the speech should be 1 minute, right?
Yes.
Okay. So when I was a little girl, when I was 5, there was a revolution in my country, and my parents took me and my brothers away to another country for us to be safe. And that moment, I realized that we are also seeking refuge in someone else's country. So it's only right that as I grow up an educated modern woman, that I give back to society and I bring up all these issues that the refugees are facing today, especially in education, because they do not have the same experience as most people. And we cannot say that we are never going to be a refugee because we do not know what's going to happen. We do not know that there's going to be a pandemic, but here we are. So I think it's very important for us to bring this issue so that the refugees can uplift their community from within. Because I think the humanitarian way is for us to give voice to the voiceless so that inspired people will inspire people. Thank you.
My gosh, I was having goosebumps with because
Ah!
it's so heartfelt, you know. It's so heartfelt. It's so genuine. It's so natural. You're so articulate. You're so beautiful in and out. My gosh, you are the epitome. You're the perfect queen. Ladies and gentlemen, please pray for Nadia Tjoa, to to her. Let's pray for her so that she will be able to make it really big in the Miss Face of Humanity 2021. Thank you, Nadia, for giving me the opportunity to really know more about you.
Thank you so
Um,
much.
yeah. So I hope everybody will be behind you in your journey for the Miss Face of Humanity. Love
I
you, Nadia.
hope so.